Me. I am a memoir. I said a memoir. The meaning of Mariah Carey.
Hello, Lamely. Welcome back to another chapter of Me. I Am a Memoir, the meaning of Mariah Carey. This is chapter 15. Well, barreling through them. This is Fab. That is Posh. He's confused.
Sexually.
Oh, sweetheart.
No, that chapter in my life has been and gone.
That was a quick chapter.
You were there for it.
I was there for it. You
Yeah,
in the middle of it.
There weren't as many chapters as this book.
No.
Although the podcast would be interesting.
Oh my God. There'll be another chapter. Don't wish it away. Now we should just barrel on because, as we've discovered, this thing goes for 4.5 hours, and we've got two Mariah chapters to get through in our chapter. I shouldn't have called these things chapters. It's very confusing to everyone. Anyway, let's barrel on to the me moments.
Me moments.
All right. So in just a mini me moment that I just did, I put out the latest episode of our podcast, the Mariah Part 2.
Side 2 of the Mariah Carey debut.
And I described part of the description was Gloria Esther Carey. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Gloria Esther Carey.
It's now a thing. So that's who Hero is about now. We also had 2 anniversaries this week, both Mariah and Michael Davis.
Yes, it was a double anniversary.
Double anniversaries.
Very beautiful.
Of course, we wish them very festive anniversaries from
very
us.
festive anniversary to the pair of you.
Thank you. Both our authors.
Both of our authors, our wonderful authors. The reason we exist as a podcast.
I thought you just in general as human.
Well, that too.
Yeah. Mainly that. Mariah has also re-recorded Always Be My Baby for the Runaway Bunny on HBO Max.
I saw this.
Right? It's kind of like a bit of a soft release. Like it's just appeared in some trailers, and apparently it's in the film or I'm not actually even sure if it's a film or a TV series.
I think it's a film. I don't know. There's a lot of music in it. I gather there's a lot of music. But yeah, it's very cute. I like Always Be My Baby.
And it is, it's very much along the vein of the new We Belong Together. So I'm wondering if it was around the same time. So yeah, I'm hoping we get a full release of that because that would be fabulous.
That would be amazing.
But in our lead story, Curly Raya had 2 Instagram Live moments.
Oh, I know.
This week. We both got the notifications, and then you quickly texted me to make sure.
I don't know.
Now, the first was with, I don't know if it's DJ D Nice or Denise. Not
Denise.
I like I wish it was Denise with an apostrophe. And Mariah says stuff is happening in the studio. So it's like
stuff is happening.
Stuff, a new album. Like, where are we going, Mariah? We had Mariah drinking water from a festive glass. A story about Denise wanting to play Emotions at the Emmys, and Mariah was like, "Oh no, I have a new single. It's called Save the Day, featuring Ms. Lauryn Hill. You should play that instead." Supposedly there was meant to be a whole moment with Save the Day t-shirts going out to DJs and stuff, but as Mariah says, Jermaine didn't come through with the shirts. She doesn't know what happened. It's all Jermaine's fault.
Jermaine likes it.
And then on Mariah's actual anniversary, she had a little party where she strictly listened to her own songs.
Why wouldn't you? They're such good songs.
Right,
they were my songs. That's all I'd listen to.
Yeah. Look, Mariah may have had a splash or 2 in this moment, and we love to see it. Okay. There was Jermaine. There was balloons everywhere. There were dressing gowns for the dem babies. A terrifying flower butterfly in the spa. Not sure what's happening. A giant glowing Mariah. Name letters by the pool, which Mariah pretends to have nothing to do with, but she set that shit up. She's like, "Oh no, we're going to have a shot of the pool. Better put my name there in big sparkly lights. Thank you." Oh, how did that happen?
Who organised that? That's so sweet. Whoever thought of that? Me.
Yes, they love me more than anyone. That's me. But it's just lovely to have had Mariah emerge after a few weeks or even months of quiet Mariah.
I know.
So
I
she's
love
obviously
noisy
rested. And she's come out. She's got the curls, curly Mariah, noisy Mariah, and
She's
we've
very.
actually.
It's very. First album Mariah. Hair.
Oh yeah,
I'm
she
loving
knew.
it.
She knew we were doing the reviews of that CD. So she pretends she doesn't know who we are, but she knows.
She knows. She knows we're talking about it. She assumes we're talking about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think being a celebrity is like being, paranoid. It's just, instead of thinking everyone's talking about you, you just know they are. Yeah. Of course everyone's talking about me. I'm Mariah.
Yeah. And if you didn't know, look over at the pool. But that does bring us to the end of Mimi Moments for this week.
Oh, exciting. Oh my God. It's just, I'm very excited by Curly Raya. She's my favorite.
Curly Raya. We love Curly.
How about a recap? A recap. Would you like a recap?
All right. So last week we had our album recap, obviously, but the
Yes.
last time we did a chapter, Mariah got married.
Yes.
This is the recap. Mariah got married in puff sleeves.
She did. Elegant. Extravagant
puffs sleeves. There was an audience, guest list. And then Mariah got yelled at by a publicist on her honeymoon at someone else's house that you're telling me is Gloria Estefan. I forget. I refuse to believe it. And she finally did do those 500 hours of beauty school. So that's that's our recap.
The gist.
I'm very nervous for the gist because I've already been pre-warned that there might be some. I don't know. Is there shade? I don't know what's about.
No.
my way.
It's just very comprehensive. Like, I'm going to cover everything in the next two chapters in this gist. Are you ready?
Okay. Oh God.
Mariah likes rap. Tommy doesn't. Okay. Breaking me on down.
Look, it's a fair assessment.
I know there's a lot that goes on in this chapter. We meet heaps of people. We record a completely anonymous album.
Look,
but essentially, Mariah likes rap and Tommy doesn't.
That's it. And you know what? Sometimes one gists very quickly.
Yeah.
It happens. This has been pent up gist for 2 whole weeks.
Gist.
So, you're like, it's just gonna, you're gonna flood the basement on your first walk. Okay. I don't know what's happening.
All right, breaking me on down.
I'm gonna break it down. Okay.
Break me on down.
We're still in Sing Sing, and guess what? Thanksgiving is cancelled.
It is. Just get
Fuck
it out
it
of
off.
here. Fuck it
Bye,
off.
bitch.
Bye, bitch.
Bye, bitch. Good Thanksgiving. No more.
Can I tell you something? I was woefully disappointed about the cancelling of Thanksgiving. I mean, I was excited because it was, it was a moment. It was an exciting moment. But I just feel like, Oprah brought it up. Like, it kind of kept coming up as a thing.
Yeah.
And then we get to the chapter. It's like, I wanted more cancelling of Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I do. I feel like that might be a little bit of what happens within these 2 chapters. That kind of thing. There's some moments, which you will get to, but are they really moments?
Yeah. It's like a moment that's not a moment that's a moment. Although I had the privilege of listening to these 2 chapters.
I know. I was so jealous.
And oh my Lord.
I hope she rapped O.D.B.
She did not.
Oh, what is she doing? She invented rap. What is she doing?
She did something that I was delighted by and excited by, which is to just play the cold track as recorded.
Interesting.
Just
Okay.
O.D.B. No music, no anything else.
Okay.
She's got the master tapes. She's obviously
That's
they're
it.
hers.
She's like, I'm all over it.
So she just played that, and it was glorious. It was such a great, especially because of the context that it's in.
Yeah.
Like having O.D.B. suddenly turn up and be like, what is happening? On the speakerphone.
It was so sweet of him to return from the dead to record his part of the audiobook, I have to say. Okay, but we do start the chapter with Petals Part 2.
Oh, yes.
So we do learn that there is a portion of Petals that is about the Sing Sing Tommy moment, as we previously speculated. So that's very exciting.
Also, I love that she just brushes away in a sentence any ambitions that he had before he became a manager. Oh, I called him TD Valentine because that was his stage name when he fancied himself a musician. Anyway, that's enough said about his career.
Yeah. So I actually did look into this to see if I could hear him sing because I was curious.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know this. Did you know that he ever sung?
No, I had no concept.
So I looked it up and all I could find was a track called Love Trap.
Oh.
I think it was about being, sucked into someone's love trap.
That sounds terribly like a Bill Cosby situation that we should not be condoning at all. No.
But it was from the 60s. It's out there, so you can have a listen. Look, it's very much of that time.
Yeah.
I don't know what it wasn't quite as happy as like the Monkees or something like that,
Yeah.
but it was slightly
TD
rock pop,
Valentine.
very light. Yeah, TD. Now, Mariah in this moment does remind us that the relationship was really all about the music because it certainly couldn't make the marriage work, darling.
No.
And there was a popular mythology that Mariah was a gold digger. How dare a princess sitting on the throne of her $30 million mansion. But darlings, it was just an illusion.
Yeah, it was.
None of that was true.
She just had a ballroom, that's all.
That's all just
It was an
who
empty
doesn't?
ballroom with no one in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just her broken dreams.
The ghosts of her broken dreams.
Ghosts of her sad
dancing, doing a waltz.
all of the ways she should be half the singer her mother is. Oh.
It was just that. What was the little girl who told her voice sounded like instruments? It was just her.
Mariah Ain.
Mariah Ain. It was just Mariah Ain. She trapped her in there. But the reality, as Mariah says, is the imbalance of power just accelerated after the wedding.
My God.
It did not slow down.
The people around her, like the security guy. I love
I know.
The security guy was a guy that Tommy idolized from school. And Mariah's like, I towered over him when in heels.
Yeah.
She's like 6'1" or something in heels. Like she's a tall woman.
She's, absolutely. Statuesque, if you will. But yes, exactly. It was the teeny tiny security guard. It was the manager was the best friend. It was a whole thing. Now, what I love, Tommy would blow up at the idea of Mariah doing anything outside of his control.
Yeah.
She tells the story of the article in Entertainment Weekly when someone fantasizes about a remake of All About Eve.
Oh, don't even. Like
with the boss, Diana Ross.
I could talk about All About Eve until the cows come home. Like, shall we just do the rest of this podcast while I recite All About Eve from beginning to end?
Me, I am Eve.
Poor Eve. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
You have to just add in some whistle tones as you go throughout. Anytime Mariah
it's going to be a bumpy night. There is an All About Eve musical and it's no good.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah, it's not okay.
Oh my God. So we had Diana Ross as Margot and Mariah would be playing Eve Harrington.
Mm-hmm.
Mariah loved this idea because Marilyn was attached to the original.
Yes.
So she was like, she wouldn't even be playing that character, but it didn't matter.
I mean, she's only in it for like 2 minutes.
Half a second, yeah. But she just thought this is a bit of fun. It's a hashtag fantasy. Yeah. It's all happening.
Hashtag.
But Tommy read it and blamed Mariah.
Yeah, I know I say this every single week, but he's got problems.
Yeah. And even the way she describes it is getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Like a child. Like he's the father telling off
trouble.
The child. Then we get a rather fabulous dinner scene taking place in an Italian restaurant with lots of music execs and the like. Mariah is basically saying that at this point, the business and the friends were kind of one.
Yeah.
You know, it was like everyone, it's all under the same control.
Yeah.
And Sing Sing was used for all kinds of meetings and all of that. So there were things that happened there that were like parties and stuff, but it was mainly like meetings. And when her contemporaries would visit, they'd be off to the studio for a spliff. Not Mariah, obviously.
She doesn't say either way.
Yeah. She was very careful about that. Very careful. She just has a bath. That's what it is.
She has a bath to wind down.
Everyone, she's having the bath in the studio while everyone's getting
everyone else
high. Now, at the dinner, Mariah is asked by one of the music execs what she thinks of P. Puff Daddy Diddy Combs.
Sean
Now-
to his friend.
Sean P. Puff Diddy Daddy Combs. Now, Mariah leaned in and she said, I don't know her because she dates people with regular names.
No, she didn't.
Yeah. No, that was what she'd say
was
now.
not what she said.
No, what she actually said was that
Wasn't he dating her when the gun came flying out of the car?
Yeah.
Yes!
That's why she doesn't know him.
Regular name car, driving, gun flinging weirdness.
I mean, maybe she'll like explain away that was all, I don't know, her's influence. Like she brought the gun.
Is she still friendly with the Diddy?
Well, I think so, which is very odd considering it was around that time that the dating was happening and the glittering and everything.
Yeah.
I'd love it if there was just more on that. But no, what she actually said was,
there might be.
we're not there, could be. What she actually said was that he is where music is heading.
Yeah.
Now,
He's the
Tommy,
future.
the future. Now, Tommy did not like this.
No, Tommy doesn't like anything.
No. We get a flashback scene in the kitchen where Tommy says, Puffy will be shining my shoes in a few years.
Don't even. That actually shocked me. I
know.
I was on my run and I'm like, did she just say that he said, did that?
Yeah.
And I thought that was just going to be it. And then she was like, no. That was not okay.
No. And we learned it was one of the first times that Mariah really stood up to him.
Yeah.
Because he was being a racist ass.
Yeah.
Now we flash forward back to the dinner.
Shoo.
And Tommy's having Tommy's having a complete BF, a bitch fit. That's what's happening here.
This scene freaked me out. Like, honestly, this reminded me of a scene in the film Gigli, starring Ben Affleck and people whose names we don't know. Regular named.
You've watched that movie? Have you really watched that movie?
I did watch that movie. It's terrible and wonderful all at the same time.
Do you know? I mean, that's very on brand.
Yeah.
But I always laugh because a lot of people go, "Oh, I don't really like, I don't know her movies," and then I'll mention the ones like Monster in Law and Made in Manhattan. They're like, "Oh no, I like those." I'm like, "Oh, you just don't like that one that was awful that you didn't watch."
That Jiggly movie.
Yeah.
I had a theory that the reason
the
it
Parker
was
one's not good either.
Parker, and that's such a good book. I had a theory that the reason that movie made no money is because people didn't know how to say it when they got to the box office.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I have 2 tickets to Lord of the Rings.
I don't know.
Lord of the Rings. But yeah, no, there's a scene in that where it's been kind of a stupid, silly movie for the whole time. And then there's just this mental scene with Al Pacino just screaming and yelling and carrying on. And I think he shoots someone. It's like, what movie is this?
Someone's accidentally crossed the film over to some other movie.
It's like, we're just cutting this scene with Al from another film because we needed a guest star. But like, it's just this weird moment, and that's what this felt like for me. It's like all these are all, you know, recording industry luminaries, all kind of having dinner, and this guy just gets up and starts pacing around like he's furious.
And the reaction scene, like from whatever like Mariah's describing, it's kind of everyone's uncomfortable, but
yeah.
It's almost like this has happened before.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, Tommy gets terrible heartburn. Right. Let him walk it off.
Yeah. So of course, Tommy does come back, slams his fists on the table and says, and I'm going to let you do the honors because you have a good belt squealy, dramatic voice. What does he say?
Thanksgiving is cancelled!
Now, what I did like is that Mariah immediately thought this was hilarious, like in that moment.
And I love how she's like gone, oh, you're going to cancel the whole holiday for
The
everybody,
whole
the
holiday.
whole world.
Who's going to recall the Butterballs, she says. I don't know what Butterballs are, but I like both those
Who's going to
words.
call Frank Perdue? I have no idea who he is or what he does.
Now, I do have to ask, after this moment, is Tommy family? Is he one of us? Because that's a very dramatic and camp thing to do.
Look, I don't say this out loud very often, but my surname is Delamata, and he's family.
Oh, yeah, kind of family. Yeah. No, I
grew up
picture
with
myself.
a lot of Italians, and let me tell you,
Right.
when something like it's like fun, sudden moment of oh no, I don't like that.
But yeah.
Thanksgiving
Look, there is
cancelled!
there is a Maltese branch of my family that has a similar
yes,
vibe.
yes.
But it just felt very like me, like, you know, someone's put friggin' glass in the wrong cupboard, like Eurovision's cancelled, everyone get out.
Yeah.
Like,
I can imagine cancelling Eurovision just because you had a
wow, COVID did it.
glass in the wrong cupboard.
But that's something I would do, absolutely.
I cancelled Eurovision several years ago. It hasn't been on since.
Oh, yeah, because...
Yeah, I don't know why.
It just, for some reason, no longer... or you get a VPN and jump onto the UK
Yeah,
version.
no, not even that.
Now, Mariah did know that there would be
don't know
hell.
her.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know anything.
I don't know.
This is
we
the
don't.
podcast where we
What?
don't know things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know her cast.
Maybe that's the spin-off. Just people we don't know.
Today we're talking about I don't know her. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
We just tell whole stories about people we don't know. Now, Mariah did know there was going to be hell to pay for this.
yeah, in the Range
moment.
Rover on the way home.
Because how dare she have an opinion ever?
No, I love how she says, I would not be locked up in Tommy's Range Rover torture chamber.
No.
Sent back to prison in Bedford. She's having too much fun in this chapter.
I know.
Like you kind of go, oh, this was a really traumatic event, and now she's turning it into something. You know, she's trying to make light of it because it's like I can't be angry about this anymore.
And to be honest, I think even at the time she was like, "This is just ridiculous."
Well, yeah.
Like, oh my god, really? It's almost like that part of it was still kind of in her head, like seriously, but she knew that the follow up, that you know, the rest of it would be the serious, awful bit.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm opting out. I don't know her.
She did say she was worried that
reaction.
by going, I'm not going home with him, that it was going to make things worse. But she's just like, she said she was gambling on him not causing a bigger scene than he had already caused.
Oh no, yeah. After cancelling Thanksgiving, it's like, really?
You're gonna do Christmas next, babe? But what a weird thing to think that is like it's like a punishment. It's like, I'm taking your toys away from you.
I know.
Cancel it. See if I can.
And everyone's like, fuck, it's February. What are you talking about? Like,
Oh my god! If we found out in the next sentence it was February, that would be glorious.
he's like, what's the one thing I can really do? That I know.
I've got 9 months to cancel Thanksgiving. I'm getting onto it.
Yeah. You got to prepare these things. He goes and takes the turkey out of the oven. It's his mother's 9-month recipe. So no, Mariah's like, I'm not going back to prison tonight. So I'm going to go with Josephine. We're going to go to a hotel and we're going to go to have a little club moment. All right. Lots of moments in this chapter.
Yeah.
And it was sort of Mariah's first taste of freedom in a very long time. And perhaps she was thirsty for more.
Oh, so much
That's
more.
what she says. So much more. Alexa, play It's Like That by Mariah Carey. That's basically what happens. At the end of the... I don't have Alexa, but I hope that if someone's listening to this out loud, it'll play.
Them chickens is ash and I'm
But
lotion.
I know. But that's what kind of happens. It's just like, she's like, anyway, insert It's Like That by me.
Oh yeah, she sings it.
That's she good. Good girl.
Yeah, she gives it a red hot go.
And that pretty much sums up Thanksgiving is cancelled. It was short and sweet.
It was, yeah. I did love the end of it. Like after she sings, it's like that. She has a little coda at the end where she's like, you know, he never allowed me to have a voice of my own. You know, I had no control over his control. And she's like, I was the voice of his label. I was making all these profits.
Yeah.
But I wasn't allowed a voice at the dinner table. And then she was like, but I wouldn't allow myself to be cancelled. You can cancel Thanksgiving all you like, mate, but not Mariah. I'm bigger than Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I'm bigger than Santa. So get ready.
I do love that, as you mentioned in the Media Moments, that she's now getting on board Easter. She's already got Christmas locked away. She's done a little bit of New Year's business over the last few years. Locked away Easter, and here she's having her tilt at Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
So,
it's true.
pretty soon, Mariah will have an anniversary every month and have some sort of celebration that she has managed to associate herself with. I love her. She's like, how do I make myself eternal? Holidays. People always want
12.
holidays.
That's true, yeah. But I'm sure we'll eventually just have Mariah's Giving or something.
Yes,
like
we should.
this.
It should be
Just
called Mariah's
imagine.
Giving.
Oh,
Because Thanksgiving is difficult. Like it's
and you have to
problematic.
you have to have elegant fresh linguine
Elegant
with no
fresh
parmesan.
linguine, no parmesan.
Parmesan is cancelled.
Parmesan is
That's what's cancelled. Thanksgiving and parmesan.
Thanksgiving's
are
fine.
cancelled.
Parmesan is cancelled.
Yeah.
Do you think there's something in her feelings towards Tommy being Italian?
They go back to the parmesan
Goes
Nazi.
back to the Parmesan Nazi.
Yeah. Maybe he was
I think we've unlocked some
sprinkling parmesan.
difficulties.
Yes. Maybe he was sprinkling parmesan everywhere. Like that's what they sprinkled at the wedding.
Maybe.
Parmesan. Addie going down the aisle.
Addie would have loved him.
Where are the flower girls? Oh no, we have the parmesan Nazi. Oh, okay. It's different. Cheesy.
Fragrant wedding. Nice.
But that does bring us to the second chapter that we'll be covering. A little longer, this one, which is fantasy.
Fantasia, as our Greek friends say. I don't know why they would
I
say
don't
that.
have any Greek friends.
Oh, well, you're not getting 2 Easters, are you?
No.
Sucked in.
I'm unorthodox.
Unorthodox.
Me, I am unorthodox. Imagine if Mariah went in for those holidays.
Oh, man.
All of a sudden.
I'm doing this Easter, and then I'm doing the other Easter in a month.
Yeah.
Get onto it.
Happy Chinese New Year. Okay, now in fantasy, even though Tommy was a big poo-poo head, as we put it, he did understand Mariah had good instincts when it comes to the music. And eventually did let her branch out a little, Michelle branch out a little into more... well, because when you think of hip-hop, I think of Michelle Branch.
You have a problem.
And he let her branch out a little more into sort of more modern hip-hop sounds.
Yeah.
Even though he wanted her to stick with her traditional
Yes.
producers. He just wanted Hero over and over and over again.
Yeah, he wanted her
For
to write
Gloria
a whole bunch of songs
Estefan.
for Gloria Estefan and then sing them herself.
Yeah.
Write
And then
another
we'll
song
just
for Gloria and then you sing it. I'm not.
All right, well, okay, I'll give you a break. You can just re-record her entire back catalogue. Okay.
Even the album of covers.
Yeah, Parmesan. Now, when it came to fantasy, Mariah had already sampled Genius of Love by Tom Tom Club. And she was feeling that. She was feeling herself with that moment.
Yeah.
She did want a remix that brought it out even more. And she'd been working with Puff P, Diddy, Daddy, Shawnee Combs, and wanted to feature O.D.B. from Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes.
But the suits at the corporate morgue were not thrilled.
Well, they wouldn't be. They don't like change.
No, and they thought, I did love that they thought he was certifiably crazy. It was kind of like...
Calls himself Old Dirty Bastard. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a sane person's name. I call myself the Fabulous Adam Richard. That is not a sane person's name.
I know Adam, so crazy. I wonder if that count. I wonder if Adam and Phil count as regular names.
They are very regular.
They
That's
are.
why we're Posh and Fab.
That's true. That's regular.
You wouldn't find those on a number plate. Not like a regular name.
But yeah, they were worried that she would be alienating her fan base. But somehow, and thanks to some of the cooler A&R people, she did manage to get him on the song for one of the greatest rap features of all time.
I know.
Humble brag, just a gentle humble brag.
He featured. She just had a song around the feature.
Yeah.
It just was an amazing feature. Like this is one of those Mariah remixes that you go, I don't know which I prefer.
Well, this is what I was going to ask. In the fantasy closet, which side are you on?
Look, because also I'm a big fan of the David Morales remixes as well. I think I like all remixes of fantasy.
Okay,
I think I'm in a world of I want all of that because they're all so different. Like, yeah, it's the same song, and one's got a bit more tom-tom. It's amazing.
I think I didn't hear the O.D.B remix for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so because
no.
we had Daydream, as I've said before, was the first album in our house, and that of course had the original single album version, and it's the opening track. So to me it was sort of the opening of the whole album, and Mariah for me. So I've always just known it better. And so I remember going to a club, I think it was the Greyhound, the GH, and they played I was like, oh, this is like a fun mashup. But the thing that I want is there's not a lot of belty moments in the remix. I almost want to merge them so that we still get the feature, but on the single.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That would be fun. But I did like that she whipped out 2 videos for it.
Oh, yeah.
Which we will cover when we get to the Daydream album.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. The night that O.D.B put down his rap, Mariah got into a very white bed with way too many pillows.
Yes.
And then she got a phone call where they were playing the feature to her. And she lost it. And so she put it on loudspeaker and she is jumping all over that bed.
Oh, when you hear it on the audiobook, you'll be like, whoa, that is actually
Mariah.
it. That is actually O.D.B is back.
Yeah. It's returned. So she put it on loudspeaker so that Tommy could hear it because she was all excited. She's jumping up and down. But Tommy was like, no, not for me. And Tommy, I love that Tommy was like, I can do better than that.
Oh
so
my God.
I am so here if that remix drops.
You know what?
Mariah feat TD Valentine. Yes, please.
You know what it is? It's someone going, oh, bloody Picasso, I could do better than that. It's like, no, mate.
Yeah.
If you could, why aren't you?
Yeah. That's the thing. I always get really annoyed when people really drag something like, oh, that album was shit or that song was shit or whatever. It's like, you don't have to like it, but
they made it.
If you think you can do better, like you've said before, half of your job was showing up.
Yeah. Turn up.
That's why I'm doing it.
Like I got booked for this gig because I'm available and I'm good.
Yeah.
If you think you're
And
better,
I'm desperate
then
as well.
go and do some gigs and get yourself a profile, and you can get booked for one of these gigs.
Yeah. And also
someone else can turn up and think that they're better than you.
Yeah, exactly. It just goes on and on and on. Now,
you know what
Mariah
I did get excited about is when he was like, "What the fuck is that? I can do better than that." And she's like, "It was as if the Starship Enterprise had beamed me into another galaxy far, far away from Tommy." She's name checking Star Trek and Star Wars in one sentence. She doesn't even know what she's doing. I love it.
That'd be me. That would be me. Now, Mariah, she gave no fucks about Tommy's opinion on this.
Yeah.
And she was
I did love that she's like, that was her thing. She's like, music was our only true bond, and now we were light years apart.
Yeah.
More science fiction.
More Kylie. But she was like, stuff it. I'm going to play this song everywhere, even on our little trips on the weekend.
And he hated it.
She mentions the I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll bit with the Donny and the Maroon.
Oh,
that
I
she's
know.
now decided to hear as a little bit rock and roll. Like, I like that she's like, it really gets me, as if it was on purpose. It's like, no, you've decided one day, much later, that's what it means.
I know, but that's kind of
sweet
cute.
of him.
It's like I've reinterpreted it for myself even more now.
No, it is.
It
I
means
mean,
a lot.
again, he just came back from the dead to do that for a gift to Mariah.
gift.
So thank you, O.D.B. And then we have the video. So
the video is a lot.
It's a whole moment. Tommy was like, no, you can't work with any of those people. So Mariah's like, okay, I'm going to do it.
I'll do it myself.
Director
Can't have
Raya.
David Fincher or Herb Ritz or
I'll have the
whoever's
next
making
best
videos.
thing. Mariah Carey.
DIY.
Director Raya. It sounds
You
like
know
a
what
problem.
Director Raya is very good at? Lighting.
Yeah. Loves.
Because she directed
lighting.
this video, Fantasy, and she also directed the Christmas Melody movie starring
Yes.
the affordable Mean Girl. Lacey Chabert and Craig from Unreal. And the lighting in that is amazing when Mariah is on screen.
Yes.
The rest of the time, no.
I did actually get a message from my friend Bryony this week. I did not know that Mariah was in the something about the Zohan with Adam Sandler. Did you know this?
No!
Like she's like in it, and the lights were mentioned.
Yeah.
Like Mariah gets all the good lighting, and no one else gets anything. Now we will cover the videos properly when we get to our little daydream episode. But the basics are: it's fun at a carnival. It's
fun at
bright
a carnival.
colours. There's rollerblading. And there were two versions, of course. There was the pop version and the remix with O.D.B.
Who turned up and caused a scandal.
A whole scandal. So, firstly, I love that Mariah's like, okay, my direction is grills, grills, grills.
Yep. I want to
That's
see
it.
your grills. A lot of grills.
But then O.D.B. is like, I want a wig. So Mariah got the ATM with the wig, and he said, no, just the wig.
I'm this generation's Al Green. She's like,
I-
I don't know about Al Green.
I am excited to hear that bit. So Mariah sends him to the shops to get a wig and probably dubbed off on the way. And he goes off with a stylist who never returned.
Yeah.
She was so traumatized. But thankfully, everything worked out with the wig and the video. Mariah was very happy.
Yeah.
But then, all of a sudden, she's like, R.I.P. O.D.B.
Yeah,
Now, I knew this, but I forgot. So in the moment, I was like, oh.
Died right there on the boardwalk filming Mariah's video,
I know. In an Al Green wig.
which she thought was a bit more Ike Turner.
So, yeah, it did. I was like... Because I forget all the time. Like, I've killed people who aren't dead yet. Like,
Yeah,
Dick,
yeah.
has
They've
Dick
been dead
Van
for
Dyke.
years. No.
Dick Van Dyke, he's still alive.
He's still alive. Yeah, he's still
Okay.
going.
Then Mariah goes into another achievement-heavy paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is
I
tradition.
love the achievement-heavy paragraphs. They are my favourite.
It is tradition that I ask everyone to be patient while I read these incredible accomplishments out.
Don't mock her, you prolo piece of shit.
There
The
is no
real
mocking.
proper
This is
achievements.
facts. Okay, you
go.
ready?
Yeah.
Fantasy was the first single to debut at number 1 on the Billboard 100 by a female artist and just the second artist to do it.
Yes.
The first was Aaron's Party Come Get It by Aaron Carter.
That was not!
See
was
how I
someone
was
else
like,
problematic.
it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And then I was like, oh no. Now, it held the top spot for 8 consecutive weeks.
Yes,
and then it
that's
dropped to
true.
number 2 for 1 week and then back to number 1 for 9 years.
No.
It was Mariah's 4 millionth number 1 single. It was even popular with music critics, with William Shakespeare overheard saying, damn, this shit is tight. In fact, the whole Daydream album did well, with One Sweet Day going on to become the longest running number 1 single for 23 years, only to be dethroned by Mariah herself when she released Almost Home just last week.
Understand where your facts come from.
Well, this time I thought, you wanted more real facts last time, so I put some real and then I've added a twist.
Blurred the lines.
So, but wouldn't you love it if Almost Home really was the song that dethroned Mariah?
Don't. We love it. I think we're the only lambs who love Almost Home.
I know, because Mariah didn't write it. I think that's a big part of it.
That is a huge part of it. But
It's the video.
the video is epic.
It's everything you need.
That meme that I found the other day where she was doing the arm fling outside a KFC, seriously, one of my favourite things ever. Who made that?
I don't know. Our dreams made it. So after this, we get a whole story about an awards show the whole story seems to only exist so that Mariah can tell us that Tupac looked at her.
Yes.
That's essentially.
Also, there's that weird business with kind of implying that the way she's dressed is, I'm getting up and I'm going away from Tommy. She's like, it's all black. I'm wearing all black. He would have, like, she's like, it's like he probably didn't approve of it, but he had to approve of it because the only skin that was on display was her head.
Yeah. He's like, still too much skin.
You're wearing a balaclava for the next album.
Yeah. Balaclava. But yeah, there was like 9 paragraphs, and it's just like, anyway, Tupac looked at me.
The way she describes Tupac, though, is like, I so would have. Right then and there. Yeah, like, I would have thrown my marriage vows right out the window.
That theatre seat was a little moist. Then we get the story of Chick. We dive into Chick. So Mariah, we know, or obviously we knew about Chick already. It was big news. But Mariah was feeling inspired by some of the risks she was taking on Daydream.
Yes.
But also full of rage.
She was very full of rage.
So she decides
frustrated, angry.
Yes. I've got these musicians. I'm going to just do a whole other album.
And she scribbled down lyrics. She first created Bianca.
Right. Early iteration.
Like a long time ago.
I love that. She's like, I just wanted to be like, the grungy 90s girls, like, so kind of like your Courtney Loves and the like. But
Fiona
I love
Apples.
that it's both like, oh, they were so free. But then she also treats it like, it was hilarious. I was just doing whatever I wanted, just like them. Like, it wasn't real music, but I kind of grew to like a couple of the songs.
Oh my God. She sings this song. I am.
Someone's only daughter. I am.
She sings this, and she in the audiobook, and she cannot stop laughing like the entire time. Like, it's like singing and laughing. It's a beautiful moment. It's I am vinegar and water.
So as we know, they end up recording an entire album.
Yep.
And Mariah whacked some lippy on a Polaroid and was like, "There's the
Tommy took in Italy."
I know. Designer Carey is what we call her.
Yeah.
Randomly, Tommy didn't seem all that mad about this. He was like, "Oh, I just can't believe you had the time."
Yeah. What have
cool.
you been doing in there?
I'm just glad it's not rap.
That is probably entirely what he was thinking.
It's like, oh, it's white people music? Okay.
Yeah. As long as it's not rap.
And then we have the whole thing about Mariah getting to start a label called Crave, which was
I remember
the original
that being
name.
a thing at the time. Like, oh, Mariah's going to get to choose her own music.
Yeah.
That was all. We never really got anything.
Didn't go. And as the marriage was crumbling, so did the album and the label.
Yeah.
Thankfully, though, one benefit from all of this was that through the label, Mariah got to meet a hot guy that we'll hear about more. Yeah. So, like, yes, yay, hot guy is what I have to say about
Flask, as she called him. Because that was near to his name.
I know. Clask. Brask.
Hask.
Zask with a silent H.
I love that his hangover played well on
Maybe
film.
she doesn't remember his name.
I remember his name, but I called him Flask because
Yes.
he had one on his lips 24/7.
And he was her hashtag sweetheart for a moment.
Yes.
When she goes through a bad breakup, it's like, oh, I wonder who that's going to be with.
Rebound.
And that brings us to the end of fantasy.
Ooh,
Back
to the podcast.
We're back into the kitchen.
Mariah made it.
All right, so Mariah meatiness. So for the last chapter, my big fat Sony wedding and little skinny honeymoon, I did give that Poshfinity.
You did get that Poshfinity.
We did get there. You gave it Infinity 6, which I've written as one word.
Well, that's like Apollonia 6 or Vanity 6. They were like a band that Prince was in charge of back in the day.
They should have been on Crave.
I think Vanity he cracked the sads with, and so he replaced it with Apollonia. So
Oh, really?
band name just changed, but there was still
Very
6.
Prince. It's very Prince. And the Lamely, now they also gave it Infinity, but there was someone voted. It was either Infinity or 1 to 4.
Oh.
Okay. For this week, we do have the 2 chapters. So this is where we do score for 1 each.
Right.
So for Thanksgiving is cancelled. Well, firstly, actually, I do want to say, I think these chapters went well together.
Yeah, I think it was a good combination.
I am glad that we did that. So for Thanksgiving is cancelled, what was your Mariah meatiness score for
look,
the chapter?
There were very few songs invented. Thanksgiving is cancelled, apart from she wanted to shake it off, shake it off. And then immediately It's Like That came on. So it has to get a 9.
Okay.
Because there were some songs involved, even though she didn't invent new songs in the telling of those stories. You know, that's my barometer of meaning.
Was there a song I like? No? Okay.
It's not just the song. I want the origin. Even if it's finding out tragically that it was written while doing a number 2 and thinking about
Mariah Carey. I have to agree with you. I gave this one a 9 as well. I thought there wasn't much happening, but I love that we got a tanty, and I love that Mariah stood up to Tommy and got to go out to a club.
Yeah, Mariah was like, nah.
Yeah, I'm going to go have a little splash is what I'm going to do.
A little splash.
Now, for fantasy, what Mariah meeting is he giving us there?
Oh my God. So much. Like, there's so much going on, apart from Tommy hates rap. Because we've got fantasy itself, we've got the whole of Daydream, we've got Chick, we've got all this stuff happening. We've got the full O.D.B business. I mean, can it be anything but Infinity Plus, the new streaming service?
Well, based on the look I just gave you, I think we're about to find out that it can be something other than Infinity Plus. But I will tell you why.
Go.
I went back and forth on this one because I thought there's definitely points for jumping on the bed and having excited Mariah.
Yeah.
Excited Mariah. I was very much here for that. I also thought, oh, how awesome to have so many things in the chapter.
Yes.
We had Chick, we had
Tupac, we had O.D.B, we
right?
had Puffy.
So, on paper, I was like, this is, there's meat here. But as I was reading it, I was like, you know what? I wasn't satisfied by any of the meat. None of it surprised me. Right. Now, obviously, having already heard about the Secret album.
If the Secret album was new information.
Yeah, but even then. We found out way more outside of the book than we did in the book. We don't even know in the book that it actually got released with Clarissa.
No.
We don't know that. So if we didn't know that, it would just be like, oh, okay, she did a little funny Courtney Love, like, couple B-sides. Like, oh, no, this exists. Like, it's out there.
$1,000 at Amazon.
Yeah. And we had the experimenting with the hip hop. We had the meeting Tupac. We had a record label, but it all felt a little bit like, oh, and this happened, and then this happened, and oh, did I say this happened or that happened?
Did I tell you that Tupac looked me up and down?
So none of it was thirsty Raya. None of it was revealed as like oh my God, guess what?
But I kind of liked that. I liked that it was like, oh, and this happened, like you do.
I don't know.
T.G. Valentine.
I wanted a little. Maybe that was meaty. I wanted a little more seasoning on my meat, so I went a little lower. I gave this one an 8.
Controversial. You know what? I reckon if you heard it,
possibly,
if you had heard it, you would be in Infinity World because hearing her sing. Hearing her sing that Someone's Ugly Daughter song is sublime. It is
that's true.
Because
sometimes in the book, you especially one like that, you just kind of read it and go, oh yeah.
Also, just like, her setting up the moment, like, because she sets up this moment of Tommy's already in bed in his white pajamas, and I got in bed, and it was like we were like a kilometer away from each other because the bed is actually the entire state of New York.
Well, it makes sense if the ocean is her bar.
Yeah, exactly. So she sets all that up, and then you hear actual O.D.B. going, New York in the house. You're like, what is happening in the middle of the night with the speakerphone, Mariah?
Yeah. And that's fine. Maybe that's where the focus was for Mariah. She was, I'm full audio booking this one.
Yeah, and it was just like, because I was actually laughing out loud as I was running, because I was she's like, oh, they're like, oh, that's great, but I'll put it on speakerphone. I'm like, don't put it on speakerphone. I'm like, is she gonna rap? It's like, how is it? Why? How is it? And then hearing just the cold track, I'm like, this is glorious, because he's so ebullient and excited, and he's having so much fun. And just imagining the look on Tommy's face while this is happening, I'm like, I love this so much. This is a great moment.
The remix, the remix,
The remix.
The remix.
So the remix. What was your remix for the week?
I only have the one. Don't marry Tommy. But my other remix is Mariah. Get that grunge record out there.
Hey,
I really like the one bit of song she sang. Yeah, like it's silly, but it's fun. Like it's fun.
I will say,
music.
like hearing Clarissa's version, it's hard to know because Mariah's so good at impressions as well. It's hard to know. Apparently her vocal is on there somewhere. Yeah. And there are moments you're like, I think that's her, but then Clarissa's voice blends quite well. So you're like, I don't know. So I would like to hear the official Mariah mastered, because she did say they mastered
Release it to streaming. Like release it.
Yes.
Release it
Do
properly.
a vinyl, girl.
Yes.
I want that cockroach with a lippy all over.
I know. We've got to have it in our lives. It needs to be more than a bootleg.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It needs to be more than someone pressing play and record next to a record they just bought by accident in the 90s.
Oh, I never knew this would be worth anything. Got it at a garage sale.
I wonder if someone is sitting on it, just like, oh, I've got that. It's $1,500 on Amazon.
Oh my god! Now, I had two remixes. One I only just came up with. The first one, and I'll explain why. The first one that was officially planned was, if I was Mariah, I'd have called up Entertainment Weekly and made that camp remake of All About Eva Reality.
Oh, yes.
Like, yes, please.
Oh.
Classic right there.
Call me Miss Ross, please. That would be heaven. And they would have like a scene where they both like kind of had curly hair and they couldn't be in the same room. Can't go into that party. She's got the hair on.
Can't have Curly Raya. Curly Diana's here.
Miss Ross.
And the one I just came up with was as a solution, because I thought about it when you were talking about the audiobook and who I wish had have appeared as a little audiobook bonus. If I was Tommy and I was like, oh, I'm a bit nervous about this O.D.B, how can we make it more white? Although it wouldn't be more white, but his eyes would be more white. It's Fantasy Remix feat Taylor Dane.
Oh,
problem solved. Everyone loves Taylor Dane.
Everyone does love Taylor Dane.
And I need that. If I'm trying to think of that. It's like, I thought it was going to be more rap like this. You don't think that how is wrong in there.
That is Mariah. She did sing that song.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, but you should feature her. I already did that.
She's not a rapper. Taylor Dane, I saw her in concert once. She was hilarious. She does the most wrong-headed and inappropriate version of Under the Bridge you've ever heard.
As in Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, yeah. I don't ever want to be like I
Place I learn, take me all the way.
You know when an artist gets to a point where...
Does she do the...
She might as well. You know when an artist gets to a point where they don't have access to the good producers anymore? And you can just hear the production, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is... yeah.
I need to hear that. I'm very excited about that. Although it can't be worse than All Saints.
It can. Because All Saints had restraint in that their voices weren't good enough. Whereas no one in like, there's no producer saying to Taylor, maybe pull it back a little bit. Maybe don't go for that note for that long at that moment. No, just whatever you're doing. That's fine.
It's
Whatever
fine
you're
for me.
doing is fine.
The gangs will love it.
Do a remix. Everyone will be crazy for it.
Yeah, O.D.B will be on it.
I mean, I love
now-
Taylor Dane, by the way. I don't want
we
anyone to think that
love Tay Dane.
I hate her, but it's...
T-Dane.
But someone needed to go, shush,
Sorry.
shush, sweetie, shush.
I just called her T-Dane, and then I could think of T-Pain. Now it's like in my head.
Love T-Pain.
Okay.
T-Pain's quite attractive. Anyway.
That little D-Pain from T-Pain. Eartha's here. Eartha Kitt's here.
I want to be evil.
Darling.
Tax. Well,
All right.
we're almost at the end, and
I
we've
know.
gone completely off the
Now
rails.
it is actually time for Can Take That Away from
yay.
List. And finally.
Finally.
Wow.
Can take that away. Oh, Mariah's lesson.
Okay, so my lesson this week is that even when things look really bad and your husband is controlling every little thing you do, there's still a chance he'll piss off to Italy and you can record a grunge album. It's the only lesson I could find in these chapters.
There's a, yeah.
And reinforce your tables in case there's a tanty. That's all I got.
Mine is Mariah is funny.
Did we not know that? Did you need to learn that?
No, it's one of those things, because this book has been kind of a little bit relentless in this
Sure.
terrible thing happened and that terrible thing happened. And yes, she's been a bit lighthearted in moments, but Mariah singing Someone's Ugly Daughter and laughing all the way through it and like trying to get her voice back into the kind of grunge sound and like, okay, yeah. It's glorious. It's so much fun. It's just that moment of going, I think the lesson for me is that even in those stressful times where you're working crazy hours to get out a new album, one of the biggest albums she's ever recorded, you still can have fun. Like, work can be fun. And yeah, Mariah is hilarious. Like, she's having clearly so much fun doing that ridiculous album.
I can't wait to hear this one now.
I know.
Yeah. Maybe she could do a version, because that's right, we did talk about that might be being brought out with a certain actress from the Stranger Things. But I would love it if Mariah did it with Courtney Love and Fiona Apple.
Oh, yeah, get all of them to cover one each.
Yeah.
A
that'd be
Mariah
amazing.
Carey grunge tribute album.
Yeah.
And
so
as a
this
bonus
one is Mariah.
special feature, the nasal flat version of Hero by Gloria Estefan.
And the Taylor Dane rap from Fantasy. Okay, so disc 1 is Mariah's version of Chick. Disc 2 is Clarissa's version of Chick. Disc 3 is the tribute by all of the
all of the
90s
different
grunge.
artists.
And disc 4 is just
That one version of Hero that we can forget to put in the box.
and throw in all was it All on My Own that I said should have been a remix? I think that one. That can be Gloria's B-side.
Glorious B-side. That's the real name of the album. Glorious B-side. Gloria's Hole, the B-side.
All right, it's time for the I don't know hers of this week.
Oh.
Who don't we know?
It's hard. This one's hard because it's always Tommy, as
Oh,
usual.
yeah. As I put down, we don't know Tommy in the Tantrum.
We don't know Tommy in
Which-
the Tantrum. TD Valentine.
Do not know.
Do not know TD Valentine.
Don't know her.
And I got the impression we didn't know O.D.B when he wanted to be Al Green.
Didn't know that wig. And I'm going to throw in that we don't know Old Town Road by Lil Nas X.
Oh, what?
Because isn't that the song that overtook as the longest running single? It was almost, I think it was almost Despacito. I think Despacito matched it.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure it was Old Town Road by Lil Nas X because he is a Mariah fan. And so she was happy with that.
Yeah.
We've got Old Town Road's overall run at number 1 is the longest in chart history, surpassing the previous record of 16 weeks achieved by both One Sweet Day and Despacito.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah. So, I think people, the Lamley were like, we're going to get something else number 1 to make sure the Biebs doesn't get it. Especially after that footage of him not knowing the words went a bit viral. But I just thought it was funny because Mariah did have a tweet because then everyone was calling for Old Town Road to have a Mariah remix, which I'm all for.
I'm all for that as well.
But I just thought it was funny that she was like, it was dethroned. Don't know who by. So she doesn't know that song.
Mariah-isms.
Mariah-ism. So last chapter, we each selected a Mariah-ism and put it to the Lamley for their favourite vote, with the 2 options being, once again, Tommy and I would sit in silence after all was said and done.
Only emptiness inside us. Baby, look what we've become.
It went on and on. And the other was, even a capable mother or sister couldn't manage the production we were going to put on. And finally, it happened.
You won one?
I actually won one. The Lamley have forgiven me for my prolo bullshit.
He's prolo. Remember that, people. Prolo.
We've established that Fab is also prolo.
I'm not prolo. I'm just
the fun you had at the concert.
I'm not low intolerant. Like, I don't fart whenever I get a bit of low in me.
Oh, God. Lordy.
When you're lactose intolerant, it's like, don't have that milkshake, honey. You know what happens.
So that means that this week... Oh, God. So just let that wind pass. It's
Sorry.
like me singing Mariah-ism.
I had a little bit
goes
of,
on and on.
I had a
little bit of low for lunch.
A little bit too much low in my chats today. That Gigli's coming back. I've got Gigli reflux.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay. Whew. So... this means I do get to go first this week, but I'm going to be honest, I struggled to pick one this week.
I had so many.
There was, there's 4 that I've written down.
Right.
A special sort of mention is to the beautifully lit dining room. I just thought it was funny that Mariah really noticed the lighting in the dining room of the Italian place.
She's really into lighting.
And we had By God, Who's Going to Recall the Butterballs. It was fun. And I also loved Sophisticated Gold Digger. Like, she just added in, like, oh, no, I'm sophisticated. Like, the rumor is that I'm a gold digger. I mean, a sophisticated gold digger. But I think the one that made me laugh the most was when talking about the teeny weeny security guard, even though she towered over him.
Yeah.
Even though I towered over him.
That's
my Mariah-ism for the week.
My Mariah-ism for the week is, I wouldn't allow myself to be cancelled.
That was good too.
There's no cancellation of Mariah.
No.
At any point.
Darling.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh,
Thank
no.
you.
I may have just lost.
You're cancelling Thanksgiving? Fine. You can't cancel Mariah.
So mean. Sorry. You can
You
try.
may cancel an entire national holiday, but not Mariah.
Do you reckon this is what she'll say during the standoff in the glitter chapters?
Oh,
maybe. you can try to cancel me, but nobody cancels Mariah.
You can't replace me with someone older than me. Who can barely sing. Who just started singing recently.
With a regular name.
I love the show so much.
It's like, what's her name? I can't even say it. It's so regular. Ooh, leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Does anyone have a splash that I can quickly wash that out? Spit, put. All right, I think we are almost... At the end of the podcast. Podcast, baby.
what you want because of copyright. Copyright, that's a no-no.
Almost home. All right, we're having another bonus next week, I believe.
We are, because we've just smashed 2 chapters in your gullets.
Yes.
We thought
Right
a
in
little
there.
bonus. Right in your Estefan.
Right in
We
your,
glory it in your
right in your
Estefan.
Gloria hole. we are going to listen to Emotions, the album.
And then, of course, after that, we will be digging into the chapter One Summer Night, We Ran Away for a While.
Oh, just the one chapter.
Just the one. And I did want to say that we've had some lovely messages from the Lamley. I always plan to write them down and then instantly forget.
Yeah.
But we've had a few sort of lovely messages over the last couple of episodes. One particular asking whether we'll be continuing beyond the book. And at the moment, nothing is set in
We're not
stone. We
even
don't know.
halfway through. Oh, no,
But
we are
exactly.
actually. One
We're
summer
about-
night, we ran away for a while.
That'll be halfway
According
through.
to my Kindle, says
Yeah.
50%.
Yeah, and that's where the photos are in the book.
Oh, is it?
It is just after that chapter. So, but what I did want to say was we have so much planned.
Oh, yeah.
So much bonus. We're going to
much.
be hitting up more albums and videos and some films and all sorts of stuff. I mean, we're not getting a Glitter and Precious and not doing
Oh,
those.
I know. What are you talking about?
So there is a lot more to come. So we will be here for a
And that
while.
one Wise Girls. We're going to watch Wise Girls.
Oh, yeah, we should. I haven't seen that.
And what was the one she
And
sang that other
don't forget
song?
the Zohan.
The Zohan.
The episode of Ally McBeal.
Yes. Was she filling in for Vonda?
I wish. No, but have you seen it? Have you seen the episode?
I think so. I don't know.
There's
It's a long
lighting.
time. Oh, yeah, there's always lighting.
There's like it's written in as part of the character.
She's
It's very good.
amazing.
So I just wanted to tell the Lamley, rest assured that we will be around for quite some time and we'll be thorough. with our goings on. And if you are Lamley and loving this, please tell other Lamley that we're not as hateful as we may appear.
Yes.
And we do actually do things and care.
And we have, we're not giving any more or less shade to anything than Mariah does in the book.
Oh, absolutely.
She's the queen of shade, and that's why we
She taught us
love
everything we
her.
know. Everything we know. But yes, please join us for all of those and make sure to join us on the Instagrams and the Twitters and the Facebooks
Yes.
and all of the fun.
At Me I Am
stuff.
a Memoir.
And I think that's it.
That is everything. All right. Well, I shall see you next week for our trip down Emotions Lane.
Bye, Lamely.
Bye, Lamely.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it up on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough with the phones already. Put them down and pay attention, or pay the price. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.